Hey, so in this demo, I'm going to show you how to use to onboard to the app and then use our flashcard feature, which we call drill. And we're going to do it for learning simplified Chinese. So from the language onboarding, we just go to continue. And I already know some simplified Chinese, so I'm going to click this one. And it takes me to a placement quiz. And this is going to save you a lot of time. What you do is you just slide the slider as far to the right until you find the most difficult sentence that you already know. And you can finish, but I recommend you do this about 3 times. So this is good. This is the most rare word in the sentence, and it tells you also the rank of the sentence. Actually, 3 or 4 times would be probably even better. Okay, I'll just finish with that. And it just builds your vocabulary profile very quickly. It's already marked for me 38 words that I know, and I can just give it a quick look and double check, but yeah, it's pretty good. So here you can see the words and rank them by their frequency in the language. You can see their status currently. We have unfamiliar, learning, familiar, and mastered. And each one of these is very specific, and I'll get into what they actually mean. You can see the counts here: mastered, familiar, learning, unfamiliar. You can do import, export. Then we also have your mastery of the word. So when it becomes 50% mastered, it becomes familiar, and when it becomes 100% mastered, it becomes mastered. And learning words are going to be 0 to 50% once you start learning them. And then you can see how recently you updated the words. So this is a complete vocabulary profile. But then now we're going to go into the drill and see how it looks. So
你们已经把工作结束了吗?
Nice. So we have autoplay for the text-to-speech. I'm going to remove the footer so we can have a little more space. Play around with the settings a little bit so you can see how I like to do things. You can do text in bubbles if you want, but I recommend once you get a little bit more familiar with the language, you turn that off because it's a little bit of a crutch. You can increase the size. I'm going to actually go up a few sizes and make this quite big. You can turn off the button labels. I recommend that for mobile to save more space once you know what the buttons are. For this demo, I'll keep it on. Play around the glossary. And for text-to-speech, we do have advanced text-to-speech with ElevenLabs, and we'll try and listen to that.
你们已经把工作结束了吗?
So that's a much more native sounding voice. And you can adjust the speed here. I'm actually going to turn it off, and I'm going to also turn off autoplay for the rest of the video. And then the other setting that I'm going to turn on here is predict known words. And that is what's going to basically, actually, you don't actually have to take the placement quiz if you have the predict known words feature on. This is another way to get you up to speed on your knowledge very quickly. However, the placement quiz is still going to save you time. So in Chinese, I'm at around a 1200 word level, and it took me, I did a test, and I was able to get up to my level in half the time by doing the placement quiz first. But this is pretty sick because we can, based on your existing vocabulary profile, we can predict words as known. So now we have actually all 4 word states here. We have the unfamiliar words, which I don't know yet, and I'm not ready to learn yet, according to my current level. And by the way, the app has predicted that my level is 313. And the app tries to, first of all, it ranks any content you encounter. And so we have sentences, this sentence is ranked at level 557, and that's a rank out of 10,000. So if you want to become fluent in the language, you might need to learn about 10,000 words, and this that's the rank of that sentence. So it's actually overall still a beginner sentence. And then we try to rank you as well. And so in the very beginning, it's all about the app trying to get closer and closer to your actual level. This is the estimated based on a small amount of information that it has so far. And by the way, when I said 1200, that's my level in traditional Chinese. So we'll see where we're at with simplified. So an unfamiliar word is a word that this is at a higher level, 557. So this is above my level. It's not really something I'm ready to learn yet. So, but I could cycle through the different states here if I want. And I can also cycle through just familiar versus unfamiliar right here. So you can change the state of it. And of course we have dictionary definitions as well. Then we have learning words. This is a learning word. And what happens here is the app will usually choose up to one new word per sentence to teach you, and that's usually going to be the most frequent word you don't know yet in the sentence. And then we have known words or familiar words, and I guess we don't have any mastered words represented here, but this is a word that I already know. And then we have predicted known words, and these ones are pretty cool because those have been predicted as known, and as soon as I click next, they're all going to convert to being familiar. But if the prediction is wrong, all I have to do is left click it, and then it gets converted to unfamiliar automatically. And if I want to change that again, I just right click again. So I don't have to worry about clicking all these predicted known words if they're already known. All I have to do is click next, and it's going to automatically graduate them. So I actually know a lot of these, so then let's just click next. And we can see, if we go to vocabulary, the recent updates, we can see 工作 right there. We can see all our recent words were added here, and then actually this one, since I already knew it, it advanced in its reading mastery a little bit. So let's keep going. So the app is also going to, so it has a little bit of a placement quiz aspect to where it's trying to figure out your level, but then it's also going to try to teach you words, generally the most frequent words you already know. And you can learn more about, like, why is it choosing the word that it's introducing you to, and then why is it choosing the sentence that it for that word. Yeah, basically this is the flow that you would use, something like this, to just go through the app. And when a lot of words are promoted, by the way, you might have seen the toasts at the top when a word gets promoted. When a lot of them are promoted, it gives you a list instead. And basically, this is only going to happen in the very beginning, where you're going to have a lot of words like this. So, like I said, it's just trying to catch up your knowledge. Yeah, so it can be a little bit confusing, maybe a little bit overwhelming. Just take your time with it. I'm going very quickly in this tutorial because I'm just going for like word understanding. But in reality, you want to go for sentence understanding. And so this is a good sentence, pretty complicated sentence. So first what I like to do is I go through and I mark the ones that I know. Okay. Oh, I should know that one. Okay, but I'll just leave it. And then I'll read through and I'll say,学习, let me just double check. Yeah, 学习的不只是中国的语言，也是一些关于这个国家的东西. So I'm trying to go for sentence understanding. So I'm studying, what I'm studying isn't just the Chinese language, it's also about country things. Okay, so, and then if that's a little bit confusing for me, then I can go to the more natural translation here. I'm not only studying the Chinese language, but also some things about this country. So I was pretty close. So if you get confused about this, because sometimes you know all the words in the sentence, but you don't understand the sentence still, then you can go to this, and that's going to help you. And by the way, you can, especially if you get more advanced, you can try some different modes. I like to do this one, and we have full keyboard support. I'm just going to press W and just go back and forth to revealing it. So you can try some different modes here. But and this mode is a cool one where it gets blurrier the more words you know in the sentence. So it's just trying to draw your attention away from this so you don't rely on it so much. Now, if this wasn't enough for me to understand the sentence, then what I would do is I would click grammar. And but this is really, really cool. And my favorite part of this is the phrases and idioms part, because it'll explain different words and phrases together. But you also get the sentence structure breakdown, and then each individual word is given grammatical context for that. So, but I like this one, and want you to also understand that our word token, we have a custom word tokenizer which I built just for this app. And so what we actually do is sometimes we split words more aggressively than what you would normally do. So there might be a word that's actually 2 characters, and we've split them apart. A good example would be the word for faucet in Chinese is water dragon head. And so we could have put that as a single word, but then it's such a rare word, you wouldn't really get a lot of reinforcement. But if you look at each individual word, water, dragon, and head, especially water and head, those are common words. And by learning those words, you get more reinforcement, and then you start to learn to think in building the building blocks of the language. But if you saw a sentence with faucet in it, you would be confused. And then you would probably this would be a really good hint for you when you looked at this. But when you went to the grammar, you would see, oh, water, dragon, head together means faucet. And that would clarify things for you. So for me, when I go to this is enough, if that's not enough, I go to this. If that's not enough, the grammar has always been enough for me. So just use that kind of progression, and you'll understand what you're reading. And you'll not just be learning words, but you'll be advancing in your vocabulary understanding, your grammar understanding as well. If that's not enough, we have some third-party tools like Allset, which is really good for grammar, and HanziCraft, which is great for character breakdowns. And different languages, we have different ones available. So thanks for watching this video. I hope this was helpful. And of course, by the way, if this synchronizes with chat, so if you go to a conversation, all of your words will be synchronized, and they go back and forth. So if you have a chat with somebody and they introduce you to a new word and you start learning that word because of the chat, then when you go back to drill, that word is, because it's in your learning queue, it's going to show up here, and then you're going to learn the word. By the way, we used spaced repetition as well. So I think this is the last thing I need to explain, is that in order to go from a learning word to familiar, it usually takes, well, we have it by default, it takes 7 times you have to see it. And each time you see it, this is something I didn't really show you, the translation gets more and more blurry. And then eventually the pinyin gets more blurry, and then finally the tone mark goes away. Eventually they all go away, and then all you have left is the character. So the word progresses automatically, and that takes 7 times by default, but you can adjust it with that setting if you think if it takes you longer to learn words, or if you are faster at learning words. But we use spaced repetition, so you're going to see that word in different sentence contexts less and less until it becomes familiar. And that the progression is by an order of minutes to become familiar. And then once it becomes familiar, we continue with spaced repetition by an order of days. So you can actually have a word become familiar to you within a single session, though it usually takes 2 or 3. And then for it to go from familiar to mastered takes over a month, actually. So it's we don't just consider that once you've learned a word, then you've mastered it. It actually takes a long time of being exposed to the word, enough times for it to really be mastered. So, all right, I think that's all I need to explain about this. Thank you for watching the full video, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me anytime. If you have any feature requests or ideas, let me know as well. All right, take care.